West Texas is supposed to be home to the world's largest cotton patch. 7 to 8 million acres are grown in this fertile red soil every year. That's 30% of the U.S. cotton crop. Texas is king in cotton, but this year the crown is losing its luster.
It's the worst I've ever seen it. I've had some fields in the past where we've had the dry seedbed deal, but it hasn't been widespread. It's been in certain areas. I've had some that came up and some that didn't. But this year it's across the board.
If you dig down a few inches, you will find seed planted months ago sproutless. They look as if they came right out of the bag. Some estimates peg as much as 50% of the 7.1 million acre Texas crop will be lost. Most of those acres here are dry land. The patches of green you see out here have an irrigation system right in the center. Still, in a normal year, irrigation is used to supplement rainfall. It's never meant to be used as a primary source of water.
There's a big difference between rainfall and irrigation. There's something in the rain. I mean, when God lets it rain, He puts a little extra in there, and the crops do a lot better on it.
Irrigation is constant and has been since the seed was sowed, yet the cotton crop is still suffering. Plants are dwarfed and are already creating flowers and bolls at the top, a surefire sign the plant is done growing. Harvest will be early this year, and it won't be great. Farmers are being forced to abandon irrigated fields due to a shrinking water supply and the extreme heat. There's a drawdown of aquifers. In some cases, farmers are pumping air, not water. They won't be able to take advantage of what most consider really good cotton prices. Instead, farmers will be cashing insurance checks instead of a nice commodity check. Checks that won't come close to what the cotton would have brought.
This is going to affect every industry, at least in my area, that's around. I mean, it's going to go all the way to the merchants. This country here, this particular county and the counties around me are based on agriculture. When we don't do well, nobody else does well.
As billion-dollar agricultural losses continue to mount at the other end of the state, researchers search for answers. Texas AgriLife Extension crop physiologist Carlos Fernandez is in his second year of a study aimed at developing more drought-tolerant varieties, bringing together crop physiologists, plant breeders, and geneticists for the first time ever.
It's a step forward to do something that hasn't been done in the past for decades and decades, which is bringing together those fields that have to deal with water stress and the improvement of genotypes.
At the AgriLife Experiment Station in Corpus Christi, Fernandez took a greenhouse slated for demolition and turned it into a fully automated, computerized laboratory. The system closely tracks the water use and growth of various cotton varieties from planting to harvest. In this study, which Fernandez says is long overdue, there are 16 cultivars housed in the greenhouse, those that are suspected of good tolerance and those that aren't. All plants are treated equally. Fernandez and his team study the symptoms and characteristics of each plant and take measurements of the leaf, pores, and stomata density, along with looking at plant growth and quality of cotton produced.
It's not so much important for me, at least, the how, but the why. And that's the whole purpose of this lab, is looking at why these different cultivars respond differently to water stress.
The hope is to provide plant breeders and geneticists a blueprint to develop more drought-tolerant varieties. As long as the funding holds out, Fernandez sees the experiment as an ongoing study. He cautions the results will not be drastic, but the development of a cotton variety that can withstand no rain for a week to 10 days longer would make a huge difference.
If we get a 10% increase in yield, a 15% increase in yield, even a 5%, that will be significant.
For TFB News, Matt Felder, Brownfield.